What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, we have what appears to be the final ARCHON hunt today, the Snake ARCHON Nira. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably the hardest ARCHON fight we have available to us. In the current version of ARCHON fights, that is. This ARCHON deals a good amount of toxin damage, which does bypass your shields, and will, if you don't have a relatively tanky build, you're going to get one shot. Or if you don't run the specific frames that are good against toxin procs, you're going to just get one shot. That's just how it is. And yeah, we're going to go over what I'm going to recommend to you today. We're going full meta in here, one shot, and the tankiest frame in the game. So like, if you just want the easy mode strat, you're sick of dying to this guy, welcome to the video, my dude. Before we get into it though, make sure you're checking out the live stream channel. We will be live again later today, 2 streams today. And yeah, there's not much going on in this fight. It's very similar to the last couple of ARCHON fights. I'm going to have an overview guide on how I feel about ARCHON fights probably tomorrow. It's pretty much going to be a rant video because they called this endgame and it's not endgame in my opinion. But let's go over the Nira ARCHON fight here. So, similar to the other ARCHON fights, you're just going to load into the mission and then just like completely book it over to where the yellow waypoint is. Once you're within 50 meters, you're going to get flashbanged. It's not an attack of the boss, it's actually an attack from DE on your eyesight. So once you get flashbanged, the boss will spawn in. Now, if you're using the cheese strat that we're using with the Kuva Heck, it's not too difficult. Give him a couple viral procs, pop Void Strike, and boom, he's done. Now, if you're actually doing the mechanics of this fight and you're using like an actual normal weapon, not specifically the Kuva Heck, which we'll show the build for in a couple moments here, the attacks this boss has, there's a good couple of them. So one of the attacks it likes to do a lot is it's similar to like a Gorgon mechanic. If you've ever played like a Lost Ark raid or whatever, if you are looking at the boss when it's done doing the attack, you'll be turned to stone, and this boss does toxin damage, about 300 toxin damage per hit. That's enough to one-shot most frames through their shield, through shield gating. So, really, I'm going to recommend Revenant for this one, guys. Revenant's second ability, Mesmer Skin. This is with, I was running this mission on a level 0 Revenant, and we were still no problem at all, even with 100 health. Because Revenant's Mesmer Skin just doesn't even care. They just buffed it a bunch too, so you want to make sure you get this frame, but maybe don't go too hard on the build because Revenant Prime will most likely be the next one, like next month, okay? So like the previous fight, you do the first phase, you go over to the Archon Priest guys, you get the little boxes, you bring the boxes back. As far as weapons on the Archon Priest, Corrosive Stropha has been really good, okay? Those Archon Priests, I believe, are weak to corrosive damage, but the actual Archon itself is weak to radiation damage. So, radiation on your DPS gun for the boss, corrosive on your ad clear weapon. That's what you can kind of look at it for this. And also, all this should be crit builds, guys. Status builds do nothing here. So, while we're going to get that next Archon Priest, I'm going to show you the build so we can fit this all nice into a neat little package here. Alright, so we've got Revenant, my boy. Got a nice little buff, actually a nice big buff. And as far as mods you want to run on Revenant, it's mostly corrosive, or not corrosive, it's mostly power strength. So it's power strength here, power strength here. Every power strength mod, basically that's what you want to do. Within reason, you know, I've basically got them all on here. Streamline to cast more easily. Rolling guard because it's just funny to have ridiculous amounts of survivability. Prime flow for energy pool. I don't even have that equipped in the video, so you don't even need to run this, but you could. And then I think Arcane Avenger might proc, but whatever. I didn't have Arcane Avenger proc in the video anyway. As far as weapons, now this is actually a big thing here. I had a Toxin Kuva Hack a couple weeks ago because I didn't feel like doing a Kuva Lich Hunt. I did a Kuva Lich Hunt. This is the optimal element for fighting the Archon. Radiation Kuva Hack. It's weak to radiation, so you got built-in radiation. Perfect. So if we look at what the build is, you will notice I do have a Riven mod with multi-shot, crit chance, and myosstatus chance. Multi-shot and crit chance are very, very good here to get it so you're likely to get your crit multiplier in every single pellet. One of the runs I did earlier today on Garuda, I had like a 2.1 million on, actually no, that was on Wukong. I had a 2.1 million damage number on the Archon. That doesn't even sound like something that should be real and it can happen, but it did happen with the Kuva Heck. So, yeah. If you don't have a multi-shot crit chance Riven, that's okay. Just put on some other radiation mod there. Ideally, you'd get more multi-shot, but there's only limited multi-shot mods in this game. So if you already got Vigilante Armaments on there, I guess just search like radiation. And then make sure you're using Void Strike. That's very important. Yeah, like you throw that on there or something. If you don't have Void Strike, also, yeah, use Deadhead as well for a better headshot multiplier. If you don't have Void Strike, you can still one-shot him, but it's definitely not going to be as consistent as if you have Void Strike from Matarai. Matarai Void Strike is used in single target DPS setups for a reason. And once we do the second one shot on this guy, I'm going to show you a more realistic playthrough of this, where I'm playing on Garuda with the Latum, which is more realistic. We're not just. I think they might eventually patch the heck thing, to be honest, guys. So even though it is pretty nice right now, we're going to talk more in depth about these attacks when we show the Garuda gameplay, because I actually do face tank with Garuda a little bit, and we see what happens. So yeah, like I was saying, toxin damage like crazy here. Now, there's certain arcanes that can ignore toxin procs, but it's not actually the toxin procs that we're worrying about here. It's a toxin damage, because toxin damage is going to go through your shields. You'll notice it with adaptation and stuff. So even on my Garuda, my Umbra Garuda with 2,000 armor and adaptation and stuff, I was still taking good chunks of damage directly to my health through my shield. So yeah, if you're trying to run some normal frame, it might be a little bit sketchy. I ran it on Wukong Prime. We were able to survive to an extent. But yeah, definitely you want to be a little bit more careful on this one compared to the other Archon fight. So there you go, just one-shot it, give me that Tau Shard. Oh wait, it's not a Tau Shard because you can't work towards anything in this game. Alright, let's get the Garuda gameplay. We're going to talk about these attacks. Before we talk about attacks, let's just finish off showing these builds here. So, I've got I already showed you the Kuva Heck. The Epitaph is basically just here to proc viral. I've got a multi-shot fire rate Riven. You don't need this. Any mod will do there as long as you're keeping your viral on here. Give them a couple procs with this, and then you switch to your Kuva Heck and you blast them away. For as far as ad clear with the Tenant Stropha, we've got a corrosive build. Now, if you don't have a Stropha Riven, quite easy to search crit and then put Glider Might in that slot. It actually might be better than my Riven, funny enough. And also, you don't need to run an Umbra form on Tenant Stropha. You really don't. These sacrificial mods, I don't even know if they work, honestly. They probably don't on these guys, but still, gives you more crit chance, which is what you care about. And then as far as Void Strike and Matarai, it's all you really need here. Just go to where's Void Strike? Right here. Press the ability button for the operator. You get a big damage buff, and then you blast away the Archon in one shot with those viral procs. All right, let's go over the attacks of this Archon now with actual non-Revenant Kuva Heck gameplay. So, one of the attacks it will do is the Gorgon attack I was telling you about earlier. It will start screaming. There's going to be a bubble going outwards from it. If you are in that bubble, I don't even think you have to be looking at it. You will be turned to stone. I'm going to turn to stone right here so you can see what I'm talking about. And once you get turned to stone, you're going to be frozen for a good amount of time. And remember, like I said, this boss has toxin damage attacks. So if you get frozen, as you can see right there, my Umbra Garuda died. And, toxin is a little bit weird with quick thinking, but quick thinking didn't even save me there. So a little bit strange. I feel like that maybe shouldn't have happened, but it did. There's also a bug going on with this boss where he'll just randomly die from 50% health sometimes. Out of the 5 runs I did earlier today, I'd say 2 to 3 of those runs were the boss randomly dying from 50% health. I'm guessing it's a visual glitch with the healing of the boss, because it's supposed to heal when it summons these ads, and it likes to summon the ads a lot. So if it summons the ads, try to gun them down as quickly as possible. That Corrosive Stropha will be great for those guys. And also, this boss seems to sometimes take ability damage. Not all the time, not all abilities, but I have damaged it with a couple different abilities in my runs today. So, yeah, it's definitely more difficult because of the toxin damage, but I'd say it has better attacks too. This thing is flying around. This is not like the Wolf Archon just hanging out on the ground. This guy's flying around in the air. He's shooting ranged toxin attacks at you. It's actually kind of a nuisance, it is more annoying than the last couple Archons, but the reason it's annoying is because of the toxin bypass. It is a completely cheesy damage type. When we fight the Corpus and when we get fought by this damage type, it's also cheesy against us too. So, yeah. And then I think the Archon is just going to randomly fall over and die here. If not, whatever. I know it did happen earlier. I think it's a visual glitch with the healing of this guy. It's just not working properly. So yeah, no goofy strats like last week. Oh, by the way, they patched out my strat from last week to waypoint the Archon, and it will keep it. They patched it out. It's like they watched my videos or something. Hey, can you add stat lockers for Rivens? Also, one shard a week is kind of low. Also, that new Corpus defense mission is really bad. Literally, no one on Earth likes it. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. You get your Amber Archon shards from this. I've already tested the Amber Archon shard a little bit already. As far as like, you know, how it works with like extra energy from orbs, I went from 25 energy per orb to 37 energy per orb with the Amber Shard. So maybe you can technically replace Energize after all of those, like if you get like a full inventory of them. But I think the main thing people were using the Amber Archon Shards for, and there you go, it just randomly died from like 70% health. I think the main thing people were using the Amber Archon Shards for is casting speed. Now this casting speed does stack with natural talent, and it goes really fast. So yeah, do some more experimentation with that. I just feel like a couple of these are kind of like unneeded. Like, why do we need a built-in mini preparation, right? Like enemy energy filled on spawn, effectiveness of health orbs, like what? Like the effectiveness of energy orbs is kind of nice, but like health orbs and what? Like why are these even like used up? Like these should be more interesting things in my opinion. Like maybe some range or something. So alright guys, that's all the Archon fights down. I'll have an opinion video coming out very soon. I'm hoping there's another Archon fight, like maybe like the fourth one, like maybe we'll actually fight Era. Not sure. Let me know how you guys thought about these Archon fights down below. I'm definitely like a little bit, not even a little bit, I'm actually very disappointed in them because they were throwing around the word endgame, and this does not feel like endgame at all. And even if you patch up the Who the Heck one-shot, it's not going to feel like endgame to me, okay? It's not. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you later tonight on stream as well, and I appreciate all the support lately. Take it easy. Peace.